Aloha, everyone. Happy Aloha Thursday. I'm coming to you live from Mililani. Now, today is a really special day because this time last year, we started lockdown and we were in lockdown and then it was extended to April and all of that fun stuff. So anyways, though, more importantly, it's when I started tracking daily the real estate data here on island. So that makes it important. And what better than to compare the data this year from this past week to this exact week last year. Let's get started. So with the weekly stats here, this one is comparing it to last week because we just want to stay abreast of the market. And then once again, there was a slight relief possibly. So the number of new listings is up by 3%. The number of pendings is it's pretty much plateaued. The change was negligible, which was under a positive 1% difference. And then the number of solds did have a positive 12% increase. So more homes sold this week than they did last week. And then the number of rentals was down about 7.7%. From talking to my property manager resources, I do hear that the rental market is just as stressful as the purchasing market as well. So my heart goes out to all you guys. Here we are looking at a graph all the way back from March of last year to currently, and this is the number of active homes on the market. So regardless if they came on, it's just number of active homes on the market and the number of sales. So you can see the increases and the decreases there. Now, in March of 2020, almost 16% of the active listings were selling. 16%. And then when it progressed into April, when we were further into shutdown and everything was still new to everybody, the number of listings being sold decreased by 4% to 12. So less of the homes were being purchased. Not a huge shocker there by any means. On March 25th of last year is when Governor Ige did implement a mandatory stay-at-home, and that's when he initially implemented it through April 30th. So kind of natural to see that decrease in the April timeframe. So not a huge shocker when comparing the data from this work week to last year's work week. The number of new listings here, let's take a look at this. The number of new listings was up by 5.9%. And with everything going on, it is a natural reaction for some people to maybe just hold off putting their homes onto the market. So they may have not just hit the market. And regardless of the lack of inventory this year, we still had a slight increase over last year. Now look at this, pending, up by 146%. 146%. These numbers are astonishing because the number of homes which have gone into escrow, which means they received that accepted offer, was triple this year as opposed to last year. So for those who didn't proceed or who did proceed last year, I bet they are happy campers because they are not going against all this other competition. And then the price decreases. So I didn't start tracking necessarily the number of solds, but I did start tracking the price decreases last year, which is why we're going to pay attention to that here. So that is the number of homes, which let's say they listed at 1 million and they ended up decreasing it to 980,000, we'll say. So something of that sort. Down 47.5% this year as opposed to this week last year. And with multiple offers on a property and thousands, I'm talking thousands over the asking price today, homes which are experiencing a price decrease are very few and far between. If you are having to go through that, perhaps a new listing strategy is needed, and you need to give me a call here. So now the back on market. So what does back on market mean? That means that the home was on the market, it went into escrow or pending status, and now it came back onto the market for whatever reason. The buyer said, hey, no thanks. Once again, that is down by 48.3%. So more buyers are falling through They are following through with the whole escrow process and closing on the home. They're not canceling and coming back onto the market. So once again, it goes with the previous statement, with having to battle it out against 10 to 20 other offers. It is more unlikely that a buyer will cancel in this market. So nearly a 50% decrease is no surprise here. If you are still hesitant on thinking your home will sell, don't be and call me. So what followed in the immediate months after this was almost 180-degree difference from what we are experiencing right now. So we did have a bit of a decrease after March had happened into arguably like into June, maybe a little bit into July as well. It only took 4 full months before the market made a very sharp V turn into a seller's market where today we have less inventory and a very high demand. So what I personally have to say today about all this is, if you have done your homework and made a decision, trust the plan that you have also created and continue moving. Take care. Throw me any questions. Have a good week.